Our story with Lily started one night when we received a text message from friends of ours. Our friends worked closely with HIV and AIDS, and they themselves were fostering a girl. And in this text, it said that there was a girl who was in an isolation area of a hospital, and she needed a family. And she'd been there for 40 days. The reason she was in a hospital and not an orphanage was because the orphanage refused her. And that was actually the second time she'd been abandoned. She was first abandoned at a train station when she was 1.5 years old, and she was found by a family. Another family that knew that first family actually began fostering her. They had her for 1.5 years. Authorities came to their house and discovered that this family had been fostering this girl, and they said, it's fine for you to have her, but you need to do a health check with her. At that point, this family took Lily to get a health check, and they discovered that she was HIV positive. At that point, she was 3 years old, and the family was no longer willing to care for Lily. They brought her to the orphanage said no. And so they had to take her to the hospital, where she spent the next 40 days of her life in an isolation room. My wife and I got this message, and within 2 to 3 hours, we knew we wanted to take care of this girl. We didn't know what the journey was going to look like. We didn't know where it would end. We just knew that this child needed a home. She needed a forever family. She needed a mom and a dad, brothers and sisters, and she didn't need a cold, silent, empty room.
Yeah, so we said yes, and that was the beginning of our story with Lily. So the whole thing with Lily happened really fast. And, we weren't anticipating, one day we get a text and 3 days later we have a child, But just with how it all worked out, the hospital wasn't prepared to handle a kid with HIV. They didn't really know what to do. They didn't really, and really it's just fear. They were just afraid. They were really afraid. And honestly, when we first met our friends and they had their foster daughter, and I found out her foster daughter was going to school with my kids, I was scared. And I felt kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is a good idea that you're putting your HIV positive child in school with my kids. And so I had my own fears. So her coming into our family, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know anything about HIV. All I knew was some of these kind of things that our friends had told us, and I had seen our friends do it, and so I knew that they were okay, and they had other kids. So, if they could do it, it must be okay for us. So having Lily come into our family was interesting. It was a huge change for us. It was a huge change for our kids. But I think the thing that I saw so quickly was just how she was like a bridge for our 2 daughters, because Lily falls right in between our oldest daughter and our second oldest biological daughter. So Lily kind of became our second oldest child, and she just, like, the way she interacted with our kids, and she so quickly just became a part of our family, and it was just really special, and I think that having all those things happen, it made those fears and those, hesitations go away really quickly. Obviously we educated ourselves, and obviously we learned all the things we needed to learn, and then those things helped a lot, But I think, it was just special when she came, and it was really meant to be, just her being a part of our family. I actually never wanted to adopt. That was never on my heart. That was never something I saw myself doing or wanted to do. Matt always had a heart for that and always saw himself doing like adopting or doing foster care, and I just really was like afraid of it, I guess. And I think the biggest thing for me is I felt like I could never love a child that wasn't my own, and I never thought it was possible for this like child that wasn't mine biologically to come into my life that I could treat them the same as my own biological children. And so I'm so thankful that the way our process has gone has just been very like step by step. It was never like, boom, we're adopting her, it's happening tomorrow. It's been such a process for us. And I think a process of learning and a process of, I think the way it happened made me realize I can love a child that's not my own. And I can make her, you know, part of my family, and it's more than possible. And I can treat her the same way as I treat my biological children, and my heart can grow. And so I think that was just really huge for me, and I'm so thankful for how the process happened with us, and that it wasn't just, you know, it was, yeah.
I think the thing that surprises me most is how normal our lives are with Lily. Even though she's HIV positive, that doesn't influence or impact our lives to some huge degree. Really, the only thing we do is we give her medicine in the morning and at night, every day. And we take her regularly to have her blood checked to make sure that her body's responding well to the medicine. Outside of that, our lives are completely normal. And Lily is just this normal kid who's smart and funny and beautiful and loves to dance and draw, and she's so creative. And her life, on the outside, you'd have no idea. You'd have no idea that this girl is HIV positive. And for me, part of the journey has just been seeing these kids can live a normal life. They can live a healthy life. And our children in our house have responded so well to her. They see her as a sister. She's not this orphan who's HIV positive or this orphan. She's naturally just part of our house and part of our family. And the normal, just how normal it is probably the thing that strikes me the most.
So I think when Lily first came into our lives, it was difficult. I mean, it was a massive thing for her. This little girl has been through traumatic event after traumatic event. And I mean, it was a huge adjustment for us and for our kids, and it was a really big deal. And it was very sudden for her. It was very sudden for us. And so, you know, it was a little scary. I remember like Matt and I just having moments where we sat on the couch and cried, and we were terrified, and we didn't know what we were doing, and it was scary. And you know, those first 6 months were hard. I mean, they were hard. You know, she had terrible night terrors, and there was things that were just, you know, she didn't understand our lifestyle, our culture. We didn't understand her and her habits. And so it was a big adjustment, but it was just, I feel like it was so special to see the little moments of growth, you know, seeing her grow and seeing her learn to speak English and seeing her becoming part of our family, and even for us growing, like even us learning to understand her and us learning who she was and us falling in love with her. I feel like it was like a love story between us and Lily, and I don't think it like was this immediate thing where I saw her and I just loved her. I think it was more like I fell in love with her. And the more I got to know her, and every month her personality came out more, I just like fell in love with her, and she just was such an incredible girl. And so it was just, you know, everyone has a different story when it comes to adoption, you know, but that was just kind of how it was for us. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that we said yes, and I'm so grateful that we did it, and I'm so grateful that we didn't allow the fear to keep us from her.
before Lily, honestly, my wife and I knew nothing about HIV and AIDS. And most of us, the last time we ever talked about it or learned about it was in high school, which was so long ago, and so many things have changed, and I knew nothing. And since getting Lily, I've learned so much that through medicine, you can control HIV, you can suppress it. And truly, Lily is our healthiest daughter in our house. Our other kids will get sick and she won't. And a lot of people would think it should be reversed, but it's not. With medicine, Lily and other children who are HIV positive can live long and fulfilling lives. I think the thing that I've learned from this situation is that these kids are vulnerable. They're vulnerable to the lie, they're vulnerable to people's fears, and they're treated honestly like lepers. People are not willing to bring them into their house. People are not willing to bring them close. And that's something that I would hope our story with Lily can change. And if we just touch one person and teach them that these children, they're just like any other child. They just take medicine. I think we could do some good if we can do that. If we can educate some people, and if we can start getting people interested in adopting and caring for these children. That's my hope. That's what I hope we can do. My heart is just to say that all Lily needed was a chance. She just needed a family who would say yes, who would say, I'm not going to let lies and fear direct my life. I'm going to love this girl who needs a family. And my encouragement is, don't let the HIV/AIDS thing scare you, or don't let the lie direct your life, because these kids can live normal, healthy, productive lives. They just need a chance. They just need a family who will say, I'm willing, I will do it. I will bring you in, I will love you every day for the rest of your life.